So I don't know about you, but one of the scariest things I can hear from another person is, "Do you mind if I give you some feedback?" In our day and age, most of the time when those words are uttered, they are preceding some very poorly delivered feedback. And as a result, a study that was done by Development Dimensions International found that most people dread receiving feedback at work more than paying taxes, a bad hangover, and even a speeding ticket. There are typically two mistakes that leaders make when delivering ineffective feedback. The first is the overly people-focused or left-side leader. This is a person that doesn't want to hurt employees' feelings, and as a result gives copious amounts of positive feedback and is scared to death of any other type of feedback. The second mistake that I see are leaders who only give quote-unquote constructive feedback, which is usually code for here's what you did wrong. These are leaders that want to ceaselessly improve the way things are, but in providing that constantly critical feedback, they actually decrease performance because they erode employees' confidence. So the mistakes leaders make when giving feedback are abundant. In fact, in one study that looked at annual performance appraisal conversations, which PS are designed to improve performance, the researchers found that in 30% of cases, that conversation decreased performance. Think about that for a minute. The only explanation they could provide was that the feedback was being delivered so ineffectively that it shot their confidence, and they were thus unable to be better the next time. So when delivering feedback ineffectively, I usually see two mistakes. On the left-hand side of the spectrum, the overly people-focused leader loves to give positive feedback. You did this great, you did that great, but in a situation where honest and constructive feedback is needed, they're afraid, so they don't give it. The problem with that is that most employees crave honesty, and they need to have that feedback so they can improve. On the right side of the equation is the overly results or improvement-focused leader who gives only quote-unquote constructive feedback. That's usually code for, here's something I'll point out that you did poorly. The problem with this, even though it's intended to improve that person's performance in the future, is that it takes away their confidence. And think about the last time someone criticized the things that you did. It really prevents you from being successful in the future. So the best feedback should be no fear. No fear for you in giving it, and no fear for your employees in receiving it. The model I like to use, I call 2D feedback. And let me illustrate essentially what that means. So let's imagine that you're driving in your car, and you're driving 60 miles an hour down the highway. You're either driving in the right direction and need to continue where you're going, or you're going in the wrong direction and you might need to get off at an exit and go somewhere different. And that's the 2D feedback model. It stands for two things. One, duplicate. Stay on the highway. Keep doing what you're doing in the future. And two, deviate. You might need to deviate from the route that you're on and do something different. The 2D feedback model is unique in two ways. The first is that it's future focused. I said earlier that pointing out things that an employee did in the past that were wrong doesn't help anyone, especially the employee. So instead, if you focus all of your feedback, be it duplicate or deviate, on what do you want to see the employee doing in the future, you will see infinitely better results. The second reason that the 2D feedback model is unique is that it's behavior-based. It's not very helpful to give employees vague or general feedback, and it's much more important that you tell them specifically what they should continue doing, duplicate, or what they should change, deviate. For example, if I told an employee you were being aggressive in that meeting, it wouldn't be helpful for them at all. But if I told them, in that meeting, you interrupted me 3 times and you pounded your fist so hard on the table that the coffee mugs rattled, then they'll know exactly what behavior they need to change in the future. So I hope this video has given you some valuable insight and initial tools to use to give both duplicate and deviate feedback. For specific step-by-step actions to deliver each of them, I'd like to point you to my book, Bankable Leadership.